Alright, so how's it going everybody? Hope you're all doing well and great, and please if you like the video, press on that like button and subscribe because that really helps out the channel, and stay tuned for more videos. Today we're looking at the best $500 gaming PC build with the RTX 2060 or another mystery GPU if you just want a GPU that's cheaper and you want to save more money. So without wasting any more time, let's get to the benchmarks. Now $500 is a really flexible budget. We have a lot of options that we can pick between in case the original option that we are going towards is out of stock or you cannot find, and basically the alternative options can be better or even perform around the same for the same price or cheaper. So as I told you, it's a pretty flexible PC. It's no harms if you went with a part instead of the other. It depends on your liking and your personal preference and your budget, of course, above all. In case you want to play a game like Valorant, you will have around 144 FPS locked at 1080p low settings. You can hit even 200 FPS. So yeah, you can hover between 165 if you want, or maybe 240, but you'll have some frame rate dipping. Marvel's the brand new Spider-Man game, you can play it at 1080p 60 frames per second. You can even play it at 1440p 60 FPS, no problem. Red Dead Redemption 2, you can play it at 1080p and you get 60 frames per second experience. So hey, that's a really capable PC. You can also play it at 75 FPS if you want to. Apex Legends, no problem, you can hit 144 FPS at 1080p competitive settings. So yeah, that's a pretty capable PC as I told you. And the last game but not least, of course, Cyberpunk 2077. If you went with the RTX 2060, you can play it at ray tracing settings and get around 30 to 45 FPS, but if you don't, you'll get 60 FPS, no problem. So for the CPU, we have two options, but my favorite option, and I will explain why, is the Ryzen 3 4100. Now this CPU, there is a deal on eBay that goes for around $90 and it comes with an included cooler. You can actually make an offer and put it at around $80 to $85, so that will save you more money. Now if you went to the YouTube review pages or you searched on this CPU, you'd find that this is one of the more hated CPUs that landed this year actually. But the thing is, it's actually a hated CPU for some reasons. It's a terrible price CPU, and this CPU was targeted towards the i3 12100F in terms of competition with it. And this is not a CPU to compete with the 12100F. This is a performance that's actually close to an i5 10400F. So yeah, it's a really good CPU when you compare it to the 3600, the 4500 even, and the i5 10400. So that's why I really like this CPU. It's a quad-core 8-threaded CPU, so it's a good CPU for only gaming and some video editing, but it's actually packing a really good punch when it comes to the price that you're paying for. And hey, it's actually pretty close in terms of gaming performance to the Ryzen 5 3600 when you compare it with the GPU that we have. Actually, you will not find any hard bottlenecking or even any bottlenecking noticeable. But if you want these extra cores, you can go with either the Ryzen 5 3600 or the Ryzen 5 4500. So all the links will be in the description in case you just don't know where to find them. I got you covered. Now the motherboard, we are looking at the MSI A520M board, and this one goes for $60 and it's compatible with our CPU, any CPU that we're going with out of the box. So this is a really good motherboard. It's got 2 RAM slots and it got everything we need, and you can upgrade to any higher end CPU in the future with no problems, but not the same ultimate performance that you'd get from a more expensive board. The RAM, we're looking at two 8GB sticks of 16 gigs DDR4 3200 MHz RAM. Now 16 gigs might not be a lot in the future, but for now it gets the job done. It's a golden standard and you'll not have any limitations in terms of gaming, and you'll have a decent gaming experience and maybe video editing too. And the SSD, we're looking at a 512GB SSD M.2. This one goes for around $30 to $31, so it's a really good deal in my opinion, and it's a space saver because I don't like SATA SSDs, you know. Hey, you can just tuck this M.2 SSD in your board and you're good to go. Now the GPU, we have two options. The first option is the brand new EVGA RTX 2060 6GB GPU. Now this one would put you around $530 to $550 in terms of the PC budget. It depends on the deals that you got and how cheap of a case you are going with. But yeah, this GPU really speaks for itself. It's one of my favorite GPUs of the market right now. I really love it. I would like to have one for myself, but it's pretty expensive in my place. It's not worth it in terms of the price range. So basically this GPU is the entry-level RTX GPU that you should go for right now. It's actually faster than the RTX 3050 in a lot of ways. It's a 6GB GPU. You can do 1080p, 1440p gaming with it, no problem. I just love this GPU for what it provides. It's a really good GPU that, you know, takes over the $200 to $250 territory. Finally, we are looking at a good GPU for that price point. But hey, if you want an even cheaper GPU, a GPU that's actually cheaper by $50, and this GPU also actually performs as good as the RTX 2060, I present to you the AMD RX 5600 XT. This GPU back then was aimed to compete with the RTX 2060. It was known for the RTX 2060 performance but cheaper pricing. That's AMD and how they target their market actually. So hey, if you want that extra performance, that really great juice out of your PC in terms of value for money, and you don't care about ray tracing, this one is for you. You can even get it for around $150 to $160 if you waited for the good deal. So I also would recommend you check that out. But anyways, the 5600 XT is a really good GPU. Now the power supply, we have the EVGA bronze certified power supply, and this PC is a power saver. Trust me when I tell you that. So you'll not have any problems with it. So any power supply you go with will be a no problem for you. Just make sure it's 80 plus bronze certified, and this one goes for around $30 to $35, so it would get the job done. And the case, there are plenty of cases under $50 that you can get right now, but my favorite one is the Aerocool Cyclone Mini. So hey, yeah, a really good flashy looking case that would get the job done, and you don't need anything more. So yeah, that's been it. If you like the video, press that like button. If you wanna see more of that, can subscribe. I'll see you in the next one, and peace.